Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome to my Sonic Adventure review / retrospective. In this video, I'll be taking a look back at Sonic Adventure and seeing if it still holds up today. This video will be divided into 5 main sections: the introduction, the story, the gameplay, extra content, and my overall thoughts and rating. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more videos like this. A very small percentage of you are actually not subscribed, so please subscribe because it does help me out. Also, Twitter, Patreon, Discord, all of that is in the description down below. So with all of that out of the way, let's get started. Sonic Adventure was originally released in 1998 on the Sega Dreamcast. Sonic Adventure was very different from previous Sonic games as it was Sonic's first jump into the world of 3D platforming. Many people argue that Sonic 3D Blast was Sonic's first real jump into 3D, and I always looked at Sonic 3D Blast as a 2.5D game. It wasn't really 2D or 3D, it was kind of in between. A lot of people always considered games like Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic R to be spin-offs. In my eyes, Sonic Adventure was Sonic's first real jump into 3D, and people loved it. The game received critical acclaim and eventually became the Dreamcast's best-selling game. The game sold a whopping 2.5 million copies, which doesn't sound like a lot because, well, it wasn't. Sega always had trouble in the gaming console market after the Sega Genesis. The Sega Saturn did not do so well, which was a sign that Sega was getting out of the console market. However, they had one more trick up their sleeve, and they introduced the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast eventually released, and Sonic Adventure was one of the launch titles. Sadly, Sonic Adventure wasn't enough to save the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast did not sell so well, causing Sonic Adventure along with many other games to eventually get ported to other consoles. In 2003, Sonic Adventure released on the Nintendo GameCube in the form of Sonic Adventure Director's Cut, which is basically the original game with updated models and some added extras. This is when the game was first noticed by a younger audience. In 2010, Sonic Adventure was ported to PS3, Xbox 360, and eventually PC, in the form of an HD remaster. These versions made everything look nicer, but used the same models as the GameCube version. The PS3 version is what this video is going to be based on, mainly because that's just the version I own. It's just the version I had when I was younger, and I'm not going to shed money on the PC version just to have the original Dreamcast models. It's not happening. Sonic Adventure is split into 6 different playable characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Big the Cat, and E102 Gamma, along with Super Sonic, who is unlockable after you complete all 6 stories. Each character has their own playable campaign that connects with one another concurrently. In other words, the game allows you to experience each character's perspective individually. I'm going to try to explain the story to the best of my ability because this story is a mess. Eggman is trying to take over the world with the help of this water monster named Chaos. Chaos gains power every time a Chaos Emerald is fed to him. It's now up to Sonic and Tails to collect all of the Chaos Emeralds before Eggman can get to them. Every once in a while, a character comes in contact with this echidna named Twinkle. Twinkle is supposedly the original guardian of the Master Emerald, and Twinkle worked with Chaos to protect the Master Emerald and her village. Her father is trying to stop her from doing it for some reason. Her village ends up being destroyed, which eventually leaves Knuckles to protect the Master Emerald on Angel Island. In Knuckles' story, the Master Emerald gets destroyed and he has to find all of the pieces. Eggman tricks Knuckles into thinking that Sonic has some of the Master Emerald pieces. Knuckles was fooled and pretty much gave Eggman the Chaos Emeralds. Chaos eventually became Chaos 6 from collecting all of the emeralds, and if Chaos collects one more emerald, then everyone is screwed basically. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles eventually defeat Chaos 6 and everything is back to normal. Knuckles eventually collects all the Master Emerald pieces and everything is fine. Let's cut to Amy's story when she is trying to reunite a bird with his parents while running from a robot named Zero, who is trying to capture the bird. Amy ends up meeting a robot named Gamma, who is eventually revealed to be the bird's mother that is trapped inside a Gamma. Amy ends up defeating Zero and reuniting the bird with his parents, and that's the end of Amy's story. Gamma's story is up next, and Gamma along with some other robots are being trained by Eggman. Each of the robots has different critters trapped inside of them. The egg carrier crashes and Gamma sets off to find and destroy all of his robot friends to free the critters. He succeeds, and the last robot he defeats is actually revealed to be the bird's father. So Gamma dies and the mother releases, and they head across the ship to where Amy is to reunite with their son, I'm assuming. Then we have Big's story, and he's trying to find Froggy, who has a Chaos Emerald. Big ends up finding Froggy, and that's Big's story. Super Sonic wraps everything up, and somehow, Chaos got a hold of all the Chaos Emeralds, including the one that Tails used to make the Tornado 2. The Master Emerald gets gulped up also, and with all the Chaos Emeralds, and I'm assuming the Master Emerald as well, Chaos destroys the city, and it's up to Super Sonic to save the day. Sonic ends up defeating Chaos, which turns Chaos into a good guy again, and, well, that's it. I hope I explained that well because, dang, this story is really confusing. I honestly like how the story is split up into 6 different perspectives, and we as the player get to piece it all together ourselves, and that's actually really cool and unique. The story itself is a mess and hard to keep up with, but it's a good idea, and I hope the concept is reused in the future. Oh wait. We talked about how there were 6 different playable characters before. Each character has its own different style of gameplay, and we're going to talk about each one of them individually. Overall, each character has a different number of stages spread out across 3 hub worlds. Sonic is up first, and he has 10 different stages and has the longest story in the game, for obvious reasons. Sonic plays like, well, Sonic. He has the homing attack and the spin dash. The homing attack was actually first introduced in this game, and it is now one of Sonic's most iconic moves. Each character also has a number of upgrades. Sonic has 3. The Lightspeed Dash lets Sonic charge up his Spin Dash and boost across rings. He also has the Lightspeed Attack, which allows him to charge up his Spin Dash to unleash a powerful attack on enemies. He can also get the Crystal Ring, which makes it so that the Lightspeed moves take less time to charge up. Sonic has 10 stages, and they all have one objective, which is to reach the goal. Whether he's collecting Chaos Emeralds or hitting capsules, it's all the same thing. Sonic also has a number of bosses between Eggman and Chaos, and these bosses are a joke. They're way too easy, and overall, Sonic is probably the most fun to play as. Tails is up next, and he doesn't have as many stages as Sonic, but he is still fun to play as nonetheless. Tails can fly, and he also has this spinning tail attack. Tails has 2 upgrades. One of them lets Tails fly for a longer period of time, and the other gives Tails a better tail attack. Tail stages consist of races against Sonic and Eggman. The goal is to get to the finish line before the other character, and these are also stupidly easy. Sonic and Tails also have access to Sky Chase, which is a minigame or sub-game as the game calls it, where you fly on the tornado and you shoot enemies, and well, I'm honestly not a big fan of this minigame. It just gets repetitive after a while and it lasts for too long. Tails also has access to Sand Hill, which is a minigame where Tails snowboards through hoops and stuff. Knuckles has stages where he hunts for the Master Emerald pieces. I honestly had a lot of fun with these stages. The Emerald Radar on this game is also miles better than the one in Sonic Adventure 2. Knuckles also has a fun moveset. He can punch enemies and he can glide. He can also climb walls and dig. Knuckles has 2 upgrades. One upgrade gives him the dig ability and the other upgrade gives him a new attack. Amy was actually surprisingly fun to play as. Amy has a very short story, only lasting 3 stages. The goal is to run away from Zero and to reach the goal. Amy's main ability is her hammer. She can hit enemies and she can hit her hammer on the ground to get a boost in the air. Amy also has 2 upgrades. One of the upgrades allows Amy to spin her hammer in circles and the other just gives her a longer hammer. Big the Cat is not fun to play as. His gameplay style is fishing. Yeah, fishing. In a Sonic game. The goal is to catch Froggy, and these stages suck. Sometimes Froggy bites and then you reel in your fishing rod and then he just swims away. I don't know who came up with this idea, but dang. I hope they got fired. Big's upgrades are a fishing rod that allows him to cast further and a life belt that allows him to float in water. Big also has these lure power-ups that aren't really upgrades, but they can make it easier to catch Froggy. I absolutely hate Big's story, and it's definitely the worst gameplay style in the game. Finally, we have Gamma. Gamma shoots things, kind of like the mech missions in Sonic Adventure 2. I do think the gameplay style in Gamma story is way better than the mech missions in SA2. At the end of each stage, Gamma usually fights a boss, which is actually very clever. Gamma also has 2 upgrades. One of them allows Gamma to hover and the other upgrades his gun. I mentioned before how Sonic Adventure has different stages and hub worlds. Sonic Adventure has 11 different stages and 3 hub worlds. Let's begin with the hub worlds. First up is Station Square, which is a city. You can ride the train to the Mystic Ruins or the boat to the egg carrier. Mystic Ruins is my favorite, mainly because of how big and expansive it is. There are 3 main parts to Mystic Ruins. We have the main area with Tails' workshop, Windy Valley, and the train station. We also have the other side of Mystic Ruins, which includes Angel Island and Red Mountain. And then we also have the jungle, which has Eggman's base and the old temple. Finally, we have the egg carrier, which is Eggman's ship. The egg carrier is pretty small, but it has different rooms with different stages to be found. Sonic Adventure has 11 different action stages. Only one of them can't be accessed by Sonic. We have Emerald Coast, Windy Valley, Casinopolis, Ice Cap, Twinkle Park, Speed Highway, Red Mountain, Skydeck, Lost World, which is my personal favorite, Final Egg, and Hot Shelter. I'm not going to go into detail with each of these stages because then this video would be pretty long. In the end, all of the characters are fun to play as, except for Big the Cat. My favorite characters to play are definitely Sonic and Gamma. Overall, the gameplay in this game is actually really fun, and the stages and hub worlds are fun to play around in as well. There's one thing I haven't mentioned yet, and that is the Chow Garden. The Chow Garden definitely didn't gain popularity until Sonic Adventure 2, but this is where it got its start. The Chow Garden lets you raise these cute creatures called Chow. You can level up their stats by feeding them things and putting them into events like races. You can also buy things from the black market. Am I the only one that thinks this is hilarious? Like, seriously. I personally didn't spend much time in the Chow Garden, but I know many people who would play this game for hours on end just raising Chow. Each hub world also has access to a Chow Garden. There are also different types of Chow. The Chow Garden is definitely one of the most unforgettable things in Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure also has some extra content as well. A lot of this content is found only in the DX versions of the game, but there are some extra goodies in the base game as well. Sonic Adventure has a ton of different modes. Trial mode allows you to play individual stages on the fly. You can also play this mode with Metal Sonic, who is an exclusive unlockable character in the DX version. Mission mode has a ton of extra missions to beat across all characters. There is also a minigame collection that allows you to play a lot of old Sonic games. In the main game, there are medals that you can collect. These medals will unlock extra minigames in Metal Sonic if you can collect enough of them. There is also a sound test menu where you can listen to all of the game's sounds and music. In the end, the extra content is a nice addition, but I only found myself playing the adventure mode most of the time. Overall, I think this game hasn't really aged that well. The HD ports have a lot of bugs and the cutscenes are poorly animated. However, for $8, you get a lot of content that will last you at least 20 hours. The gameplay is also really fun and rewarding if you put all the technical issues aside. I also really like the story. I don't like how it's so confusing, but I do like how you get to see everyone's perspective. Story-wise, Gamma probably has the best story. Gamma is the only one that shows any sort of character development or change of emotion. Every other playable character has the same attitude and mindset from the beginning. However, some of the character stories are a little too short, and they don't feel finished. The level design is also really good. A lot of the stages in this game have a very innovative level design. A lot of the gimmicks aren't shoved down your throat either, and there's plenty of variety. Pretty much every level has some sort of gimmick, and that's actually a good thing. I also appreciate how every character has a unique gameplay style. All of the gameplay styles are pretty fun to play as, except for Biggs. The cutscenes and the models have definitely aged poorly, but the game as a whole is still fun to play, even if you're stuck playing it on a PS3. I would have to give this game a solid 4 stars. It would probably be 5 stars if there weren't so many glitches and bugs and Big the Cat. So that's it. I think that Sonic Adventure does indeed hold up in 2021, and that Sonic Adventure would be a good game for someone who has $10 to spend. So that's it for today's video, guys. This is my first shot at this kind of video, so feedback would be appreciated. This video took a considerably long time to make, so I would appreciate it if you subscribed. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.